So that's the first step. Now you've come across this podcast. I put the questions out to you. It's something that you can now work on becoming aware of. If you do a physical job, are you waking up some mornings just feeling not great? Are you dragging your ass through life? Could you maybe use a good stretch before you get to work? So that awareness then can fold into or lead to, let's say, planning. It's like, okay, now I know. My job beats the hell out of me. I need to make time every morning to stretch, or at night, or both. You build that into your day. Or if you're so inclined, you can do some resistance training like weightlifting or resistance band work. Really just find the places in your body that don't get that full expansion and contraction, or where you're always bearing weight, or if you're bent over a desk, bent over a shovel, bent over a guitar, whatever that looks like, that lower back's going to need some help, right? And I'm not going to spend a ton of time. I'm sure you can educate and inform yourself, or just intuitively you can know how to stretch yourself in a way that's going to help you feel good. As well, deep breathing. So if we're having a stress response, a great way to sort of combat that is to take control of our breathing. Get the tongue on the roof of the mouth, chin up, deep breath through the nose that we pull from the diaphragm. Hold it a while, and then push with the diaphragm out. Doing that as often as possible, that mindful breath control really, really helps with stress. What it's helped me do is open up my mind to the chain from the diaphragm down through the gut and then into the pelvic floor, and just to really feel a release and a looseness there. There doesn't need to be tension in the body. I mean, sometimes there does, sometimes there doesn't. As often as possible, especially if your mood is telling you this, seek out that tension in your mind and use breathing when you expand the muscles, contract the diaphragm to exhale. You can start to become more in tune with the way stress sits in your body and how breath can help us alleviate that. And breathing, of course, leads to this general practice of what we call mindfulness, right? We're taking mindful control of our breath, but now we're actually going to be mindful of how we feel in our body. How's my posture right now? Where's my chin? Where are my eyes? Where's my tongue? Where are my shoulders? How am I sitting? How am I standing? How's my spine? All of these questions that, yeah, life gets busy, no doubt. Things take our attention away, but if our mood starts to go down, if our mood starts to tell us that something is wrong, even when supposedly or seemingly nothing may be that wrong, let's come home to the body and see what it's doing or what we're doing with it. And so, like I say, if it's physical tension that's leading to a bad mood, in a way that's kind of easy. We can just target that physical tension, stretching, breathing, lifting, working out, doing resistance training, walking, all those things, letting the body naturally expand and contract if we've been kind of holding it in a way or stressing it in a way that it's sort of pent up. If it's emotional stress leading to physical tension, that can be a harder project, right? But surely if it's an emotional problem, it can't hurt to also target the physical symptoms with all of those, stretching, breathing. But that's where things like journaling can come in handy, right? Start that journal and say, page 1, I listened to this great podcast and I realize now that maybe the way I think about life, there's things that stress me out. There's things I'm working on. There's things I want to improve. It's leading to me stressing out, and I carry that stress in my body. Recently I found there was somebody who, they talk a lot and they're always talking to me, and I don't mind it sometimes, but sometimes I just can't stand the constant talking. And one time they were talking away and I noticed I'm clenching my fist. Like, was I getting ready to punch this person? I'm not sure. But it's little things like that, right? Where the tension that we feel, it has to go somewhere, I think. It can't only live in the mind. It goes out into the body. Start that journal and say, look, I think maybe there's ways in which my emotions are leading to poor posture, clenching, not breathing properly. And then, of course, through that journaling, as you know, if you've listened to this show, that mindfulness begins. We can start to anticipate where and when that's going to happen and plan to work on it. I guess I would also add a quick line on the idea of gratitudes or affirmations or prayer. And really all that means, all that has to mean to you, it doesn't have to be about religion. It just has to be about making time to speak out loud. If you're someone who you don't have a ton of social contact or you don't like to speak, perhaps make even 5 minutes at night to literally speak out loud what's going on. It sounds crazy. I mean, I make plenty of time to speak into this camera. I encourage you to try that. If there's emotional stress in your life, things that you're working on, things that may be leading to physical tension, hey, just talk about it. Even if there's no one to listen, getting it out, hearing it. It's a start towards allowing that flow. And in just the way that our muscles need to expand and contract, the body does need to open up and put things out, close up and take things in. And we need to be, I guess, making sure there's a balance of both.